Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Seegers, and we're joined today by fellow GameXplainer and Pokemon Master Derek Bittner to discuss the latest Pokemon X and Y trailer. Which means we'll be talking about the new starter evolutions, some brand new Pokemon, and a few other things too, including those PokeBeach rumors. So let's get started. Okay Derek, so there's been a ton of more Pokemon news, which is basically the case every time we do this, which is becoming increasingly frequent.
Yeah, it seems like a weekly basis anymore, doesn't it?
It really does. So people are asking for this, so let's give our thoughts on all the latest news. And perhaps the biggest news coming out of this are we finally see the first evolutions of the 3 starter Pokemon, being Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie. And we can see that they turn into Quilladin, Braixen, and Frogadier, respectively. So let's go ahead and start with Quilladin. What do you think of this guy? How do you think he looks?
Quilladin, he's probably the odd duck out as far as his designs because with Braixen and Frogadier, you have these lean, sort of very sleek-looking Pokemon, and then you have chubby old Quilladin coming in, just happy as a lamb.
I think he looks kind of goofy, actually. I mean, he's cute, but like I don't think it matches with what came before. Like it seems like a completely different Pokemon to me.
Matching into the whole Paladin thing, it looks like you took Chespin, sort of got him a little fatter, and then just stuck a piece of armor on top of him, and it doesn't fit right. I don't think it's a bad design, but as you said, it doesn't match the other two's very much sleek design. But he is extremely cute. Yeah,
that's definitely true. So I wonder where they're going to go with his final evolution. If he's going to be, if they're going to continue along that fatter, cuter path, or
I have a feeling he's probably going to end up pretty bulky.
Yeah, pretty bulky. Yeah,
I think so.
He's going to like a 6-pack.
I don't know, not like bulky as in strength. I just mean like he's probably going to get even bigger.
Right.
And just make that more pronounced like armor type thing, I think.
Okay.
Since they're definitely going for more of a knight vibe with him. Yeah,
that's right. They definitely do seem to be going for that based on the name, as you discovered. When you break it down. So that's pretty interesting, and actually that's a trait that kind of not that specific trait, but something along those lines that carries over with the other evolutions. So if we take a look at Fennekin, I keep wanting to say he, but then his evolution looks like a she, so I don't know where to go with this, even though I realize they're both sexes anyway.
Yeah, that's why I usually just go with it.
That's probably a good idea. So yeah, so Fennekin's first evolution is Braixen, which I kept calling, I think, Braixen or Braixen in the
Braixen. Yeah, you wanted to work in that Vixen.
Oh man, yeah, I think that's what I was doing. It was
I kind of messed you up when I said it was a combination of Braise and Vixen.
That's probably what it was. I think I may have pronounced it right at one point in the video. Then I start pronouncing it wrong. When you're reading from a script, it's whatever. So Fennekin turns into Braixen. And so she's kind of weird, or it's kind of weird because it looks like a she.
Yeah.
She's got like a little. It's got like a little skirt. It's now standing. It's now bipedal as opposed to being quadrupedal. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is a interesting change. So what are your thoughts on this one?
I've always, ever since I saw the first 3 starters, I decided Fennekin was going to be my choice. And once I saw Braixen, I was like, yeah, I'm still happy with this choice.
Yeah.
I thought it was odd when they first showed it off and we didn't have video. The stick in its tail, I'm like, what the heck is that there for? Like, what's that mean? And then in the video, you see during its attacks, it actually pulls it out like some sort of wand.
Right. So people mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. I think it looks cool. I'm a fan of magic users, so I always thought that was a little cool. And I like that they went the extra mile and have it like channeling its powers through the wand and not go out of its mouth or anything like that.
So are people thinking it's like it's a witch then, or is that the common?
Yeah, the common trope right now is that these starters are actually sort of based off the 3 classic RPG modes where you have Quilladin being like the knight paladin type thing.
Right.
Then you have Braixen as the magic user mage type thing, witch in this case, since you like to call it a female. And for Frogadier to be more of like a thief type, since it's just the way it's the sort of thing around its neck looks.
Right.
So it's sort of like it has its hood down. and it's stealing things.
So speaking of Frogadier, looking at his evolution here, what are your thoughts on this guy? My immediate impression is he probably best reflect, like, he most looks like what I would have expected Froakie to evolve into. Like, he actually resembles his previous form, whereas the other two take it in more liberal directions, I feel like.
I know I know a lot of people have become big fans of Frogadier ever since seeing the evolution.
Yeah.
He just has that nice sleek body. It's a really good design. He looks powerful, really.
Right.
And it's something you don't quite get out of the other two. You sort of see Quilladin is highly defensive, and Braixen is sort of almost frail because of the way because of Mage User, of course. But Frogadier, you get this real sense of power out of it, which makes sense since a lot of people, including us, think its second typing will be water fighting.
Right, and that's interesting. Or I mean, if you just look at this guy, like, he's like ready to go. Like, this guy is in battle position. He's itching to get it on.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah, speaking of types, as you just mentioned, there's a lot of people, throughout our videos at points have mentioned the PokeBeach leaks.
Yes.
Being, this guy or this person who leaked lots of information about Pokemon some time ago. I think over the course of some time, and basically everything he said has come true, such as as you were telling me, the new fairy type.
Yeah, the fairy type rumors sort of started from him, and that's where we sort of got it from initially. But it was just more general rumors because I was trying to stay away from just baseless rumors.
Right.
Because how do we know this guy knows anything he's talking about?
Right,
we don't.
exactly.
We just have to rely on his source. And so we made a decision early on with our analysis is that we disregard anything that came out of this and focus entirely on what we see in the trailers and what Nintendo has released itself, and sort of go for there. Which is how we come up with the idea that the secondary types for the starters will be, in Quilladin's case, it'd be a Grass Steel, and then Fire Fairy, and then Water Fighting. He, on the other hand, has information saying that they're going to be Fire Psychic, Grass Dark, and Water Fighting. So we agree on one of the three.
Right.
But the guy does have an excellent track record.
He does.
I mean, it's some really impressive stuff. So it does make you believe that he's right. One such case, of course, is Fairy. He even got the weaknesses, immunities, and everything else right about it, as far as what it's going to be strong against, weak to, all that.
Right.
It matches perfectly, and of course, Sylveon and the other Pokemon being reclassified. It's kind of ridiculous. He got the whole fact that Mewtwo is going to have new forms. Wasn't quite right about the whole fact of Mega Evolutions, but he knew they were being activated via items.
Right.
He even got what their look was going to be like correct.
Right. So basically, he's right about everything. So we got it.
Yeah. But let's go over a few things that hasn't come out yet. Because, just look up PokeBeach rumors and you guys can actually see the whole list, and probably most of you already have. Of course, he's saying that the final evolutions will be Fire Psychic, Grass Dark, Water Fighting, which does make sense. It fits into our whole thing about it being sort of like a perfect mix-up, a perfect matchup of being strong against and weak to everything.
Right.
For all the starters. One of the things we haven't gotten a full confirmation of is some of the gyms. He said the first gym is Bug, the second is Fairy, and the fourth is Fighting. Well, we know that the first is Bug, so he's right about that. We have no idea about the second being Fairy, because if you remember our analysis of the map, that sort of strange structure in the eastern end of Kalos, that's where we assumed the Fairy type gym would be.
Right.
And it seems a little odd to go from that first gym all the way over there.
But didn't we? But we also think though it could be a water.
Right.
Yeah,
it also could be a water gym because that could be more like Coral. However, I do believe he's right about the fourth being Fighting, because we just saw Karina be introduced. We saw her symbol, which looks like a fist, and she's right near the Tower of Mastery, which would put it in pretty much the right area I think, for where all this stuff would get introduced. So I could totally see her being the 4th gym leader. He has some predictions on how some of them will evolve, because you remember Nintendo said that there'll be new ways of evolving Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of Pancham evolving into Pangoro, he said it has to, in order to evolve it, another Dark-type Pokemon has to be in the party.
Okay.
And then with Inkay, which evolves into Malamar, which is that sort of squid-like thing, to evolve that, if you hold your 3DS upside down when it levels up, it'll detect, the 3DS will detect that, and it'll evolve into Malamar. And then finally, as far as other Pokemon predictions he had, he was saying there's a Psychic type Esper that evolves into Meowstick. Well, we just met Meowstick, but we haven't heard anything about Esper, so maybe he's right about this pre-evolution. And then finally, the only thing that he seems to be wrong about, and maybe he's not wrong, is that he said the professor of this game is going to be known as Patrice.
Well, he said, but then he goes on to mention another professor going by Sycamore, right?
Yes, exactly.
So,
he said the initial one he said it gives you your Pokemon is Patrice, and then Sycamore, he mentions later, is the one that gives you Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle, which is exactly right. So, did he get this information wrong, or is there actually a second professor that is an associate of Sycamore, and they two talked, and that's why he's like, we finally meet.
Right.
It's not a lab assistant you meet; it's Patrice, and that's where Tierno and Trevor got their Pokemon.
Right.
It fits. It really does. So, we still won't be for any future analysis if there's any more that come out. We're not going to be referencing PokeBeach, but we did want to discuss them and say that we take them we have heard about them. We just try to disregard them because we want to go off of what we see and then our own sort of thoughts based on what we see.
Right.
And not what this guy's leaks were. But yeah, one of the other, just so we can have a sort of nice segue, one of the other things he has said is the 2 forms of Mewtwo, which he was correct. We got Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Mewtwo Y.
So that's going to be, they're going to be specific to each version of the game. Obviously.
Yes.
Right.
We got Mewtwo Knight X and Mewtwo Knight Y.
So look,
gotta love those Mega Stone.
Oh, it's amazing. So yeah, just looking at them, I think Mega Mewtwo X looks like a more natural evolution of Mewtwo than Mega Mewtwo Y.
It's sort of strange to see such a bulked up.
It is. That's true though.
Mewtwo.
It is a little bit odd.
I think I've gotten so used to Mega Mewtwo Y that I kind of like him better.
Right. No, I kind of agree, yeah.
Yeah, but I still think they both look cool. I think it's a nice... obviously, if they're pumping up Mewtwo this much, we're probably going to be catching him in this game.
I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even just sort of like a side thing. It might be even more story-related. Who knows? Mewtwo seems to have a much bigger role.
What if you just catch them like out in the wild now? That'd be freaking awesome. You just there's Mega Mewtwo's everywhere, or just Mewtwo's everywhere.
That'd be weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also got Mega Garchomp, which is actually kind of a controversial choice because
really?
Garchomp for a while in tournaments was banned because he's just that powerful. He just could wreck other Pokemon so easily, so everybody had him, and it would just sort of throw off any tournaments. So they actually outright banned him.
So I would think they're going to rebalance that, though.
I have a feeling that they are going to rebalance it, especially since they have a Mega form of him now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't know, but it is a very interesting choice that I wouldn't have predicted off the top of my head.
Yeah, that does seem interesting. I have never even seen this Pokemon before. I mean, before doing this, since I haven't kept up with them, so I have no idea of his history. Yeah. Now, speaking of having no idea of their history, because we can't, there are other new Pokemon announced here as well, for the first time. And like the new T-Rex guy, Tyrunt.
Yeah, Tyrunt. Yeah, yeah. I love. These are probably the first fossil Pokemon that I truly love both of them of, because Tyrunt is awesome in his own way.
Oh, he's a T-Rex.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Amara is about as cute as hell. Those big eyes. Oh my god.
She does look pretty adorable.
I mean, I'm definitely going to be picking Tyrunt, but Amore is pretty awesome. This is a really good set of fossil Pokemon, I think.
Oh, that's right. You'll have to choose between the two, isn't it? Right?
Exactly. They'll both be in both versions, but you're only going to be able to pick one fossil.
Right.
So you won't be able to get both unless you trade or have another game and that sort of thing.
Now, another new Pokemon they announced was it's Meowstick, right? Which I called Mewstick in the analysis.
It still works.
I even think I wrote it here as Mewstick, actually, in my little notes here for our discussion. But so this one's interesting. I mean, we saw that they each have, there's two of them, of course, for each sex, and one of them, the male, actually is the support class, whereas the female is the stronger offensive one, right?
Yes. Which is an interesting choice.
Yeah, that's basically the opposite of what you would normally expect.
I mean, it's not. I mean, gender with Pokemon doesn't really matter to me a whole lot, and it's sort of like changes the way you want to play, because it is interesting that they've gone this far with the gender, because usually they just look a little different. In this case, they have completely brand new movesets, which is a interesting choice.
Now, speaking of cats, they showed off another new one too, called Pyroar, I think.
Pyroar, yes, the evolution of Litleo.
Yeah.
And what's kind of cool with him is they have the gender difference, of course, matches a real lion, where the male has the big mane and the female doesn't.
Right.
She's just, in this case, she just has that long sort of like ponytail.
Yeah. Which I don't think is actually based on a real thing.
No, it's to give that whole Pokemon flair. Otherwise, it would look just like a real female lion.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, so far I'm really loving these designs for X and Y.
Yeah, so I mean, so is your hype continuing to just go through the roof now, then, or?
I said it last time, and I still think it. Come on, Nintendo, get this in my hands. I want to review it.
Right. Well, I really don't. I mean, we're actually getting to the point now where I don't think it'll be much longer. Like,
no, I don't think so.
It's less than a month away now, right? So.
Yeah, it comes out October 12th.
Right.
Usually, you got Wind Waker about 2 weeks beforehand, so...
Yeah, so we should be getting it...
I'm hoping for 3
soon.
weeks, so I have more time, because I think Wind Waker isn't quite as long as Pokemon.
Well, not that you can sail through the game twice as fast, or more than twice as fast, even, considering how much time you save with the wind. So one final thing that they showed off, not in the trailer, but on Pokemon.com, was they just showed off the highest members, or what were presumed to be the highest members of Team Flare. And there's 4 girl scientists and then like 1 dude. So now you thought that maybe that he might be like the leader of them. Is that right, Derek? Or
yeah, that was my initial thought. But somebody pointed out in the comments that in the one picture of the girl there, you can see 2 of the girls hanging out with another Team Flare member who does not look like Xerosic and is just sort of hanging out in the background. So a lot of people think that this guy might actually be the leader, not Xerosic, as we initially thought.
Right.
So maybe these are just because it's been known for some of the later team enemies that you have what's known as admins, where they're like higher level within the gang, but they aren't quite the leader.
Right.
So that assumption works. Like if that guy was the leader, these 5 would be his direct underlings.
I mean, that makes so much sense than anything, really.
Yeah, I mean, we have no way. It sounds plausible. I mean, it could be the other thing. It's like we really don't know. All we really know for Team Flare is that they have an interesting style, to say the least.
Yeah, speaking of which, as you mentioned in the script, they're all wearing similar headpieces, and I noticed that they all seem to be basically like the Dragon Ball Z scanners. not exactly that, but they look to be like some kind of like heads-up display for them, or some kind of scanner for them.
Yeah.
Which I thought meant could mean that they are able to maybe scan Pokemon or something, which could potentially tie into the whole genetic theme. And maybe they go around trying to find the best genetic type Pokemon, or best Pokemon with the best genetics, or
that's likely, because a lot of other fan theories, since we have our Xerneas and Yveltal, Yveltal being the destruction Pokemon, Xerneas being the life Pokemon, that they think the way that they'll work into the plot this time is that Team Flare is going to try to capture both use Yveltal to destroy the world, and then use Xerneas to recreate it in their image.
I see.
Which, Apocalypse and Pokemon, sure, why not?
It'll lead into the eventual MMO, right?
If only.
Alright, well I think that covers it for all the latest Pokemon news, although I'm sure there'll be more the moment I post this.
Oh, of course.
Alright, so thanks guys for watching, thanks for joining Derek, and make sure to keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more Pokemon X and Y, as well as make sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. There are links in the description below, the link here right there, we post all kinds of things there. It's a good way to keep up to date with everything we do. Alright, thanks for watching, bye.